Stocks generally are holding on to gains following that positive news about Merck's COVID drug. Could better COVID and economic data give us an October to remember in a good way this year? Joining me now is Barry James. He's president and portfolio manager at James Investment Research. Barry, it's great to have you back. Now, you've been a little cautious about some of the headwinds for the market this year. What's your thinking now that we've had this reset?
Thanks, Kelly. I got a word for you. It's called confluence. It's kind of a weird word. But if you go just north of St. Louis, you find the confluence of the Big Muddy, which is Missouri, and the Mississippi River. And up to that point, the Mississippi is this nice green river. And then the Big Muddy comes in, and then we know what the Mississippi is like after that. Well, the big green part there is low interest rates, easy Fed, great earnings. And that has favored, the stocks in the technology area, growth, and large cap. But the Big Muddy, that's what's coming in right now. That's where we are. And that is, higher inflation, higher interest rates. And one thing that's surprising people, we're seeing earnings estimates going down, not up. Our research says that's not a good thing when that starts to happen, because it's always been up, up, and up for the last quarters. So that tends to favor smaller cap, more cyclical, and more value. And so that's what we're focusing on today in our Golden Rainbow Fund.
Well, now I'm Google mapping the areas that you're describing. I wasn't sure if you were saying big money or big muddy, but in this case, we're interested in both. You do have a couple of names, Barry, that you think could do well in this environment. Matador, Fifth Third Bank, Old Dominion as well. Old Dominion has not been a great story this year. There's just so many headwinds on the supply chain and labor front. So do you see those getting resolved?
Well, when we look at Old Dominion, it's way ahead of its competitors in terms of its margins, in terms of its free cash flow, and so there's a lot of things that we really like, and they're rewarding shareholders. I always like it when they reward me with dividends or share buybacks, things of that nature. We think that those are real good, but they're best in class, and they're keeping their drivers. A lot of people can't, but they're investing heavily in that, and we think that this supply chain problem will actually work to their favor.